Hey, Steve again. Coming in with another video. I'm not asking you to like, I'm not asking you to share. I don't want no money. Just giving you the facts. Um, it's 3:35. It's 4/11/2024 for those of you who are time stamping. Um, Hello, Angelina County officials who monitor my videos. Good day to you, gentlemen, ma'am, whatever. Now, anyway, I want to touch on this because I the recent shooting that we've actually not the one at the Ramadan festival, but the cop shooting that has came to light, and I wanted to put out my comments on this because I have I have feelings both way. Now, apparently, this guy was stopped for a seatbelt violation. I believe it's more to it than that. I believe they were actually looking for probable cause, which seatbelt violation you're going to get pulled over for. It is what it is. And you're going to get a ticket. It is what it is. However, the fact is, at some point during the time, this individual brandished a weapon and supposedly pointed it at a police officer. Now, if these facts are true, and he brandished a weapon, then they should have dropped him like a sack. They like dropped him like a bad habit. But here's where I have the problem. 96 shots in 41 seconds. I would go into this. Now, there will have to be an AAR after action report after officer deploys his weapon, and it involves a shooting or injuring or killing a victim. They're going to know. They're going to want to know exactly what happened, what exactly. They're going to want. They're going to nitpick it like they're going to go through it like gnat shit out of pepper. They're going to actually ask you to write it down on paper, your report, what you saw, the whole 9 yards. Now, where this gets interesting is that here's where I have the question: 96 rounds, 41 seconds. We haven't determined how many officers were there at this particular time. But let's take both case scenarios. If you, as a police officer, have to shoot 96 times to disable a person, you need to get your ass to the range. You need to get to the range. Period. Don't pass go. Do not collect $200. Get your ass to the range. And why is that? Because you're actually a hindrance to the force. If you can't hit an individual who's actually addressing you in a violent manner that can take your life or your fellow police officer's life, and you can't hit the target, get your ass to the gym. Get your ass to the range. At this point in time, whenever every officer that was involved in that shooting who shot 96 rounds, I'm sure there are going to be some suspensions. I'm sure they're going to be suspended with pay until it all boils out, or all the story comes out, or whatever. They're going to be reviewing the videos and everything like this, and that is pretty much standard operating procedure. They'll be suspended without pay. Oh, I'm sorry, with pay. So I wouldn't give it now. If I was in charge of these individuals, as soon as they got off suspension, they would be at the range. Now, people definition of deadly force is that force which is known or should be known to cause death or serious bodily harm. It's only used as the last resort when all lesser means have failed. Okay, that's the definition of deadly force. Keep in mind, it doesn't say anywhere in there protection of others. Keep in mind, it's only for protection of your person, your self-defense. Maybe you might want to think about that when you want to be a hero and you want to run in there, and you end up catching a case because the fact is you're doing the right thing. Sometimes doing the right thing ain't always doing the right thing in the eyes of the law. But let's get back on topic. There's actually a correct way to apply deadly force. And I know this because I was security forces in 8511 in the Marine Corps. I think it's 80 some. They changed the MOS or whatever. And then I was security forces when I was in the Army. And when we applied deadly force, it was taught to us this way: when an individual is preparing to initiate deadly force on you, or your life is in danger, you take your first shot. Your first shot is aimed at let's say, your shooting hand. So in other words, you're going to actually shoot around at that coordinate of his body. Preferably, you want to actually aim right above the breast, because the fact is that will produce more damage, because the fact is then you're penetrating the drug, penetrating the lung, and they become less of a threat at that particular time. Why? Because they got possible sucker chest wound. Now the second thing is that they're unable to utilize their shooting hand. It may not stop them from being able to pick the weapon up, but it will definitely hinder them. So in other words, you've hindered them to the point to where they can't. You've taken away his aiming and his accuracy right there. That's not. It don't stop there. So that's one to the chest. If the individual proceeds to actually draw the weapon, or actually proceed to the weapon, then, and this is all happening in a split second. If he proceeds to lift that weapon forward, you take your second shot. Second shot is aimed at the same spot, aimed at the other side of the chest, and right above the breast, to do the same thing. This shot is meant to stop the individual's motion, forward motion, or his motion that would allow him to actually produce his weapon and charge or harm you and your other fellow police officers. Now, if he's still able to do all that shit, okay, and he's still able to pose a threat, you take your third shot straight to the head. Yeah, that's your headshot. So it's 2 to the chest, 1 to the head. There's a reasoning behind that. Now, many people say, well, why do we have to? Well, here's the reason why. We were taught, because the fact is that if we wounded an individual to where they couldn't fight back, we have a live body. We have a way of getting intelligence. Who you with? What's your size, your activity, your location of your unit. Who are they? Whatever. Get intel from them. Interrogate the shit out of them. This is why you don't shoot them for kill on the first, second shot, because they are valuable to you. Now, how does that portray to the civilian population? Well, this individual now cannot speak. He cannot tell you who's affiliated with. He cannot tell you where he got the weapon. He cannot tell you why he drew. He cannot tell you any of these things, because now he's dead. Which I'm not saying the guy shouldn't have been popped. I would have popped his ass too, but I would utilize those methods, because the fact is every action has a reaction, and if you can keep him alive, then that information is going to benefit someone down the line from getting harmed by this information that you have, or you can get from this individual. So that's actually how you use deadly force. That's the definition of why you get 2 shots to the chest and 1 to the head. Now, in this case scenario, we haven't seen all of the video of the police officers yet, their body cam videos. But here's one of my major concerns: is the fact is that if you're firing 96 shots at a victim or at an individual, are you really even considering collateral damage? Are you considering what angle this other officer's at and he's shooting? Are you considering what happens after that bullet leaves the body, or that if you miss, which obviously they miss a lot of times, where were those rounds going? These incidences are important because it creates a friendly fire episode. And you're shooting rounds downrange at another officer who's receiving fire from your weapon, and you're assuming it's coming from the victim or coming from the suspect. So see how that clouds judgment? This is what we call the fog of war. See how that clouds the judgment? It's like, okay, have you? Now, I'm not saying you got to take time and you're thinking, no, all this should have been in your training to where you're actually going through line by line. When you use your weapon, how you use your weapon and how it's deployed to make sure that you're not causing harm to others, innocent individuals around you. There's 96 rounds going around range, probably about 9mm is what they normally carry. And that's somebody just can, up 7,500 yards, they can do some serious freaking damage. Maybe even a little further than that. But I'm like 75 yards is about my range as far as causing damage. So, and everybody's will be different. 96 rounds, man. Imagine did you hit that somebody's 96 times? At what point in time did somebody say that somebody's dead? He's dead. He ain't moving. He's dead. Somebody should have thought about that. And given the number of police officers that were involved, this would actually include they would have to empty their magazines, load another magazine, and empty another 10-round magazine into the victim, or I'm sorry, I say victim, but anyway, he's suspect. So now you got rounds going down range, and you don't even know where they're going. It's discipline. It's fire discipline. It's actually should be and is taught in the academy, but is it applied? No. So what I'm getting at here is, once again, we see lack of training of these individuals. I'm not questioning the stop. I'm not questioning the use of deadly force. I'm not questioning anything that these officers had to do to defend themselves in that situation. What I am questioning is how they did so, because they put other people's lives in danger. And fear was among the main contributors to the 96 shots. And I'll tell you why. Because the fact is that, like, say for example, I'm shooting my 3 shots, but my buddy hears me shoot 3 shots. He automatically looks for the threat. So he's actually going to say, well, what the hell is the threat? He's going to shoot 3 shots. But in this case scenario, they didn't take their 3 shots. They took 10 shots. Half of those shots were probably unaimed. And as we have been shown in a number of videos, police officers get scared. When you have fear, then you react in stupid ways, and you lose control of your emotions. You lose your discipline, and you lose the effectivity of the effective way that you were trained. It all goes out the window. This is why discipline is a must if you're carrying a weapon, even for our law enforcement officers. Now, what we have here is a lack of training. Individuals were not trained properly to actually apply deadly force and the methods in which you utilize deadly force. And we don't even know from this suspect what he was thinking, whatever. At the fact, and I really don't give a shit. He pointed a weapon at an officer, dude. Yeah, I dropped you too, but it wouldn't take me 96 rounds to drop you. If I've got to use 10 rounds to hit a target, I need to go my ass to the range. It's a deficiency that I need to correct. And I would utilize those videos if I was in charge of this unit or these individuals that were there. I would actually use these video cameras to go through line by line every action took, to do a critique, show the good things that they did, show the things they need to work on, and then identify things. No, do not, in any case scenario, do this. This trains them to be more proficient in the next encounter. And also, it guarantees a way of training individuals, the rookies and the people that are coming up. Because whether you like it or not, rookies are trained by the veterans. They're on the street or whatever. And they learn the ropes from veterans. But once again, I want to preface, I have no problem with them dropping him if he pulled a weapon. There is no reason. There's no reason why that I can come up with that he should have actually pulled a weapon. especially fire a shot. But there's different reactions that one learns if you hear shots fired. The first thing you do is you take cover. You take cover, analyze the situation, under the situation, then you proceed accordingly. Should have taken cover, identified his target, identified his 3 points of contact, boom. In the situation right there. It's done. He may be over there writhing in pain or whatever, ain't my problem. Shouldn't have went for the weapon. And if you want to be a hard ass and you still want to continue, guess what? You're gonna get another fucking round. And guess what? If you don't like the first two, you dang sure ain't gonna like. You ain't gonna like the next one. Sorry, I cussed there or whatever. YouTube will probably block my video. But anyway, I'm a Marine. Hell, that's the way I talk. So my question is, at what point in time do we draw the line and say it's overkill? Well, we don't know specifically because the fact is that we haven't been determined and it hasn't been released. It'll probably never be released. How many rounds hit this person in this 41 seconds time frame? So we don't know how many rounds actually hit this individual. We don't know when he was actually dead. We don't know. We know he probably didn't survive after getting shot at or getting hit. Even if he got hit 20 rounds, he ain't going nowhere. Police officers always say, well, he's on PCP, he's on whatever. I don't give a shit what you're on. If you're dropped, if you properly drop somebody, they ain't going nowhere. And it sure shouldn't take no 96 shots to accomplish your mission. So we have a lack of training. And as I hear all the time, people and civilians and people in the public, well, it's never going to happen here. It's never going to happen here. We've got this, and we got this or whatever. My job and the way I figured out how to cover my ass was to think, what if it does? What if this does happen? What am I going to do if this does happen? And I can carry that throughout my course of my day all the time because the fact is I have PTSD, and this is one of the signs that because the fact is when I go into a Walmart store, if I can't locate the bathrooms and the points of ingress and egress within probably 2-3 minutes, I'm freaking out. I got to get out. And if I haven't properly scanned the parking lot, then I got to wait. I got to sit by my truck and I just see. I just analyze until I feel safe. But that's me. But what I'm saying is that you have to prepare for the worst case scenario in order to actually be good when the actual scenario happens. I keep utilizing this example because the fact is it is the worst case that I have ever seen when I ever having analyzed videos in the civilian world. Uvalde was the worst case scenario, and it should have been a red flag going up through all police departments. Train your people to make sure that if this does happen, God forbid, in my area, we know what mistakes were made. We can alleviate those mistakes, and we can save more lives and protect more people. But it's very difficult to get police officers to want to come in on their day off and train. They don't want to put forth the extra effort to train, and they want to get home to their family. I understand all that. But the fact of the matter is that you've got to actually put into work to be prepared to handle these type of situations. Because if he raised a weapon at you and he's shouting around, that's your worst case scenario. Why not prepare for it? Why not be prepared for it? Ask, what if it happens? What are we going to do? Ask your superiors. Okay, if something happens here, where is my control point? Where is command and control? Who is taking over these situations? Who are we taking orders from? All these case scenarios. And then you ask, well, if he's not available, who else? So it just keeps going down the chain of command. This is how a police officer can identify and also point out, I guess, the failure in the chain of command. Because the fact is that now all the preference is put on the police officer, but nobody holds the chain of command responsible. That's added pressure onto your police officer because the fact is, you know what, he's got to make his own decisions, what he's doing, and he has no direction from his superiors. He has no direction from his superiors who actually see the big picture, and he has no direction as far as how he should proceed. And we know that an individual under stress who is actually in any situation who's under this amount of stress or whatever, they need some kind of direction. They need to understand the situation. They understand what's going on, why he's moving this way, what is he looking for. All these things need to be communicated to the officers responding, and the officers that are already inside the building are preparing to go inside the building. And they have to be ordered by somebody to go ahead. So, what have we identified? Number one, we identified the lack of control, command and control in this situation. Nobody said ceasefire. Nobody on scene determined that some gun's dead. Stop firing. Command and control wasn't established till after the fact. And our videos weren't working. All these things need to be considered because the fact is that normally on a police officer's day or a law enforcement officer's day, get in the truck and say, okay, you know what? Or get in a vehicle and say, okay, we're in charge of this sector day. We're going to be looking for this. And you know, that's the job. Normally it's incident free. Normally it's just breaking up some shit, you know, comes with a part of the course. But also you have to be ready for, and also if you're already in chain of command, you have to be ready for the worst case scenario if it happens and where your people are and where you're sending people. Are you in communication with medical personnel? Are you in communication with first responders? Are you in communication with the fire department and anybody else that may be involved? Are you in communication with DPS? If you're in communication with higher ups to establish a command and control that is actually getting the information out to all these agencies because they're relying on you to determine how they respond. And law enforcement, when in doubt, they'll over deploy. We've seen that. We've seen, and the reason why they over deploy, like SWAT teams or all this or whatever, is because the fact is they weren't given the information on the ground of what actually existed, what actually is happening by superior officers. And then if you're commander of these responding units, you got to make a command decision. And the command decision is going to always be the defense of your people. And overreaction, how do you determine that? Well, overreaction is based on the information that you're provided. And also, where are we going? Well, okay, where are we going? Do we just show up? Are we responsible for an area? Are we responsible for crowd control? Are we responsible are we responsible for searching individuals who come out? What is our role here in this whole situation? And this is a command and control procedure. This is the reason why we call it command and control. Kind of went off on target about this situation, whatever. But bottom line is that once again, I'm not doubting the officers who actually pulled. What I'm doubting is the officers who actually, at some point in time, just kept firing. And many people here in East Texas will tell you, I shot that son of a dead. I shot him dead. Yeah, I pulled my trigger out. I shot him dead or whatever. That's easy to say. But the fact of the matter is there's a method to the madness. Because the fact is that when you're employing deadly force, you better make damn sure you're applying it the right way. It'll come back and bite you in the ass. If you're a civilian and you're reacting to an armed intruder or you're acting, then you better make sure you're doing it the damn right way. And you have to think about all possibilities. There's a friend of mine, and I was sitting at his house, and we were sitting there drinking coffee, and we were this subject seems to be coming up or whatever. And he said, "Well, if you come into my house, I'm gonna, I've got such and such weapon, and I'm going to use it." I said, "Okay." So he comes in your front door. He comes through here, and he either makes a left, which goes down to your kids' room, or he makes a right to come after you. He's coming after you. You're going to shoot. What happens to that round after you shoot? What happens? Does it go? Say, for example, you hit him on the first round. He drops. You hit a second round. Where does that round go? Well, now you're putting your family and their life in danger because the fact is that you're popping off rounds and you have not thought about where the collateral damage is. If I shoot through this, it's going to go through the sheetrock and may hit my babies. That would be the worst case scenario for anybody. So if you do nothing for me today, at least think about your plan of attack when somebody enters your home and the instructions that you've given to your loved ones, if that happens, so you can move, shoot, and communicate and make sure you take out the threat. My thing would be my thing is that if you get down, that's all I got to say right now. Everybody just gets fucked because next thing that's going to happen, I'm starting putting rounds down range. Somebody's in my house. I'll probably go to jail, the whole 9 yards. But the fact of the matter is that I have protected my family, I've protected myself, and some things are worth going to jail over. With our legal system today, it's very difficult for you to protect yourself and not be held accountable to your actions and not have to spend bukus of money on defending yourself when all you're doing is doing the right thing. So you need to take this next step and you need to be better, bigger, better, and faster than the ordinary bear. And you need to actually not only just think, but I think beyond that. And many people will say, well, if I think beyond that, then I will hesitate to pull on the, I'll hesitate to pull the trigger. It puts my life in danger. Well, get used to thinking that way. Get used to making decisions. Watch your surroundings. What would if he does this, what would I do this? If he did this, what would I do? I know it sounds freaking asinine, but the fact of the matter is that they don't issue this warning. Just notice when you are in your course of your day, okay, how many people are looking at their cell phone? They have no idea what's happening in their surroundings. No, none. They're unable and unwilling to know to recognize some type of threat. Oh, there's a crowd of people. I don't want to go over there. I'll just go wherever I want to go, bump into walls and shit. You got to be aware these days, man. Especially now when we have hell, the FBI, CIA, DOJ, everybody said we've got it. That there's going to be a terrorist attack in Texas. Where's it going to be? And if you keep believing that it will never happen here, that is what every person that is interviewed after a shooting says. We never would have thought that would happen here. We're such a good town. Let me tell you, that's where they're going to. For the individuals who do not offer a deterrent, that they do not act prepared, and they do not pay attention to their surroundings. I'm not threatening that it's going to happen anywhere in the United States, and God forbid, I hate to think that there is any kind of terrorist plan for the United States. But I'm also old enough to realize that, you know what, and knowing the enemy like I do, they're patient, and they are watching, and they are looking, and they're sharing information, and they're identifying targets. So, or possible targets. So what I'm saying Just be aware. Keep your head on a swivel. Notice things that are outside the ordinary, and don't participate. It's just, hey, I don't like the vibe over here, or whatever. Let me get the hell away from here, or whatever. And suspect this, because every person that has been interviewed that I have seen, the first person who said they heard the shots. Oh well, we heard it was firecrackers. Firecrackers in school. Firecrackers in a mall. Firecracker. Come on, man. Your first assumption: who's doing the shoot? Who's doing the shoot? Oh, it's firecrackers. People laugh at me because whenever I don't even go to fireworks show anymore. I just know it's not me. But I'll hear a car backfire. I'll hear something immediately. Who's doing the shoot? Where'd it come from? Who's doing the shoot? So I'm not saying you have to get to that level, because if you do, maybe you won't be able to live your life accordingly. But the fact of the matter is, you got something you have to be aware of, and you should be aware. You should be actually sitting down with your kids and telling them and training them to be diligent and be careful of their actions, especially when they're in that schoolhouse or whatever. I'll leave you with two things. One thing is the only thing I believe that stops a bad man with a gun is a good man with a gun. I believe that if there were armed individuals in all these mass shootings that have happened in schools, I believe they wouldn't have probably saved everybody. They wouldn't have had the numbers that they had. Second thing I believe in is this. Can you guarantee me, without a shadow of doubt, that my government will not become, at one point in time, tyrannical and step on my rights? Can you guarantee me that will not happen? Well, no, we can't. We can't happen. No, I never know what's going to happen in the future. Good, because right there ends the debate on gun control. Right there. Because when you go back to the Constitution, where it was really originally written, it wasn't to protect. It was to protect us against the government. And one of the main issues is that during the Civil War, is that, learn from our history, the British were coming to take weapons away from individuals that they deemed necessary, that they deemed it was a threat to the majesty and the king. Individuals stood up and said, no, you're not taking my weapons. I utilize it to hunt. Self-protection, hunt, whatever. This is my picture, so you're not going to take this away. But until you can prove to me that this government will not be a tyrannical government in the future, then don't even talk to me about guns. Don't even talk to me about it, because the fact is, to me, the debate's over with. Do not trust the government to do the right thing all the time. They will take as many freedoms as they can away from you to keep you from defending yourself and your family. Whether it be through the law, whether it be through monetary gains, whatever means that you have to fight back and stand up for your rights, they will take them. It's already starting to happen in our country, one at a time. Freedom of speech has been under attack. Second Amendment's been under attack. I don't know when. And all the other amendments have been attacked as well. Our our justice system. They're always looking to take away individual rights. And we have to be aware of that. And that's where our civic duty comes in. We have to participate in our government, and we have to voice our opinion. And we have to, whether they like it or not, stay involved in the government. Also, we are the oversight of our government. And we utilize proper means to alert other individuals that this is going on, and we demand answers, because the fact is that it's freedom of information, and that's what our government is found on. And any government, any local, state, federal, any government that is hiding information from you, your first question to your head in your mind should be why? What are they hiding? All right, guys, I went a little bit longer. I try to keep it 30 minutes, but I never can. But anyway, you guys, Hey, like it, shout out to the guys that have answered me and actually have followed. Like I said, I pretty much go on Twitter and I go on other platforms because the fact is that there are people outside the county that are my county that are interested. And one of the reasons why they're interested is because the fact is that they notice, hey, that shit's happening here. What did they do to fix it? So it's a way to get out information about comparing situations and finding out how they address the situation to solve the problem, and or learn information from those participating in the room or whatever. Don't be scared. Okay, if you don't want to watch my videos or other people's videos that are actually turned this way, then you are filtering your own information that's coming in, because the fact is there's two sides to every story, and there's a lot of people out here that pride themselves on finding out what the other side of the story is. You guys be good, be careful, keep your powder dry. Oh, last thing, I started making my own lead bullets. I started making them out of mold, and I have developed the perfect conical round ever. I only got one of them, but anyway, I'm still working on that. I'm a work in progress. You guys be good. I'm out.